Hey, Jody.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's Thursday, June 2nd, 2022, and we have a scheduled appointment with Northville Township Clerk Lundberg. He seems to be favorable to election integrity, so we're looking forward to this meeting, but that's why I'm a little bit dressed up. But you see, I do have my shirt, Make America Godly Again. I love it. So we're on the mission, Jody. Let's go.
So what we did is last week, Northville Republican Club had a meeting, and I was blessed. The Lord brought me the city clerk because I had so many questions. And this gentleman let me record him at the meeting, and he really enlightened me on the right terms, what the process is. And what I like about him is he's only been in office for a year and a half. So he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's quoting the law, he's following the law. And I just am interested in hearing what else he knows with the 269 pages that are found in the election law. So as we go in, Janice, I have my list of questions. I'm sure you do too. And hopefully we'll come out more educated, and then we can share our knowledge with other people.
I'm secretary of the Northville Republicans Club. Matt Wilk is president.
To tell you where we're coming from, we're both longtime real estate brokers. So we abide by a set of rules and laws we have to follow and high standards, and so we know that you do as well as city clerks. You have the same kind of high standards that you have to work towards, but we have some major concerns with the way the elections have been going.
I mean, we are looking at this wonderful area. I can look around, I can drive by the town, and I see people who are honest. Now, when you have the mills in the other areas of the state that we saw on video, I mean, that's fraud. I'm not saying
I'll touch that on in a little
yes.
bit, okay? Our votes in Northville Township, they've always been in balance. And when I say balance, what I mean is that every vote is accounted for. I've got absolute confidence that, everything is on the up and up. Every vote counts, and it only counts once. Are there opportunities for improvement? Absolutely.
There's a lady that was sitting behind me. She's running for Plymouth Canton School Board. But she said, yeah, it's kind of nice to be around a bunch of honest people in Northville. And that when we go to our sister jurisdictions, we're just seeing the fraud.
Katie and I go to the AWCC, what is that?
The Wayne County
Association of Wayne
Association?
County Clerks.
Mhm.
We don't know any clerks that intentionally commit fraud.
I absolutely agree with
in
you.
any of those jurisdictions, and that's all of Wayne County. So
Correct.
now, do they run their elections in a tight ship like Katie does? I don't know that.
Right, and nor can you know that, because
Right.
thank God we have a representative republic where we all have local control.
Yeah.
I have a copy of the Michigan Election Security Advisory Commission report and recommendations. The qualified voter file apparently was upgraded after 2016.
And it's continually upgraded.
Okay, so is there a public access through FOIA that we can see what those upgrades were and what?
So when they say they upgraded it, just like any other computer software that you have or something, at a certain time, one becomes kind of an end of life as they're developing the next one. So it was just, we had an old qualified voter file. This one still has the same functions plus more. The other one, we had a computer that it was updated every night. This one is now continuously updated throughout the day. Like as soon as something happens at the...
Instant gratification.
Yes, it's like an instant gratification, yes.
And who's the IT person? Is this run by Benson?
Bureau of
of
Elections.
Elections.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a statewide management. But the state leads us to believe that the qualified voter file is changed at the local level. So it's the clerks, in fact, by law, who are responsible that is maintained properly. But you believe it's taking place at the state.
There's a lot of elements of the QVF that are done automatically from Secretary of State's office.
I see.
Like when someone goes and takes out a new driver's license, that automatically gets updated in the QVF.
Yeah.
And we get that downloaded from them. We don't do anything. So when you say it's all under the local control, it's not quite.
Because you made a comment, you can't get them off the registration.
NVRA, the National Voter Registration Act, has a very strict, this is how when a clerk or someone in the clerk's office can actually take someone off the voter rolls.
But we can get it because what I love about Michigan, we are a recorder state. Everything's recorded. Your deed, your death, your birth, everything. So that's what Michigan used to not be one of the corrupt. We were one of the best. We have processes in place. And so the recording of all of the stuff we pay for, we have to pay for a death certificate. We have to pay to transfer our affidavit. We have to pay for all this stuff.
But
Let's say that there's a transfer of
It's a transfer affidavit
affidavit.
to the assessor.
That happens. NVRA doesn't let us use that as evidence of that.
Until Jody White becomes Senator 5, and I'll be changing that.
The
So,
Vote Shield program.
The which program?
Vote Shield. This report says currently the Secretary of State periodically monitors QVF use, and the Secretary of State is also working with the Vote Shield program, which monitors public voter registration data to identify anomalous changes or trends to voter registration data after the fact.
So that must be at a state level.
It's just
That must be a state level.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a clerk was charged for modifying a voter record, taking someone off the rolls when they weren't authorized to.
Okay, and this report recommends that the Secretary of State continue participating in the ERIC, the Electronic Registration Information Center system, to ensure cross-state voter data reports are available. I find that there's been a lot of controversy about ERIC. Do you have any problems with that system? Do you find it's too intrusive and taking over as a third party, a non-governmental third party?
The ERIC system allows for, and I'm not exactly sure how many states are involved in it. I want to say there's about 30.
I think there is, yeah.
States that are involved in it, and what it does is allow, because each state, their elections are run differently. So while we are run at the local level, there are other states that are run at county levels, and some states are run at the state level as far as elections. So we don't all have the same qualified voter file. We don't all have access to other states' qualified voter files. So ERIC allows that if somebody was to go to one of those participating states and they register to vote there, it notifies Michigan, hey, they have now registered here, you need to take them off your rolls here. It's one of those things that when people move, you have that checklist of things that you go through. I've changed my address at the post office, I've changed my address, all your billing, your credit cards, your banking, your doctors, all that, but nobody ever thinks, did I go and change my voter registration? Or if I moved out of state, did I cancel my voter registration?
I'm also a communications director for a group called the Election Integrity Force, and we've been publishing reports on the qualified voter file and the serious vulnerabilities and problems that we see with that report. We've accessed a December 1st, 2020 report, and then an April 1st, 2021 report, where there was no significant election in between those two dates, but mysteriously 4 million extra voter history records were input on the April 1st, 2021 file that weren't on the December 1st, 2020 file. And what we're finding is when we realized what was happening, we started pulling more and more months reports.
I would like to get these 2 monthly reports from you, even if we just get a sampling from 12 of 22 and 4 of 21. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know if,
My experience with QVF is you can't do that.
Do you have drop boxes?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we have one drop box.
Okay.
It's right in our drive-through loop here.
Okay.
is it new?
No.
Oh,
Do you have
It
video
was-
surveillance?
Absolutely.
We do, and we are in the process of upgrading it.
with facial recognition.
Upgrading it, which means that you're gonna eliminate all the data that's in there now, or have you reviewed the 2020 election surrounding dates?
What we had in 2020 was a video camera. The position of the camera was not that good. It didn't give us facial recognition in or of the car. And it was on a 30-day rolling cycle, so every 30 days it got rewritten.
Oh my.
Which we were FOIA'd during that 30 days for it, and it was given out.
That doesn't seem right when, as a taxpayer, I have to keep my tax records for 10 years.
Well, everything's got a different retention policy.
Yeah.
Our ballots versus our applications have a different retention policy, so we go by what the state has went through.
There's a manual about that.
Yes,
It
it's a very
defines
thick
retention
manual, and
policy.
every single thing, I mean, all the way down to building plans, emails, everything's got retention policies, and that's just, the state of Michigan has, you can even Google that and get exactly what the retention is for everything.
The video is vitally important.
Vitally.
There's a proposed law that didn't get passed.
Ruth Johnson.
Okay.
Ruth Johnson proposed the law in the Senate, got passed in the Senate, and it got stuck in the House. It was to upgrade all of the parameters around drop boxes.
Oh, I see.
And it required that, the design of the drop box, it specified the video recording. You had to go to high definition recording, which we are doing. We're improving the lighting, and we're going to high definition. We're relocating the camera so that we will get a clear picture of the person's face.
Good.
And we'll also see the vehicle that they drive up in, so we can tie it to a driver's license if there's any suspicion.
Because did you guys watch 2,000 Mules? Because I cannot believe the $10 someone stuffed a ballot in these counties. And it was on camera, it was caught on camera. And if I didn't see the camera footage, I wouldn't believe it. Who paid those people the $10?
That's the key.
So what do you got for me on this? This was an amazing day.
Well, this was an amazing day, Jody, and it was so refreshing to talk to some really knowledgeable, nice people.
Hello, everybody. This is Jody White. I'm running for Senate 5, and I've spent my morning at Northville Township. I met this gentleman at a Republican meeting in Northville, and he was able to share his knowledge about being a clerk for the last 18 months. He just got elected in, and he just hosted an amazing meeting with Janice Daniels and I, and we were able to spend the last 2 hours with him and his deputy clerk. They were able to really make me feel like there's a very good process in place already. There is a lot of data that is being collected, which is a good thing. I still have a concern with the actual IT department and the way that maybe that tool could be manipulated. We are going to ask him to do a little bit of an assignment for us to verify one specific thing so that I could really feel like our elections are secure. It is something to do with, like you have the chain of custody with your ballot. They have a great process here in Northville. They have the camera system. They're even going to upgrade their camera system to a high definition. They have their staff, every time a ballot comes in, their ballot is under lock and key, or a witness is there, and these people get deputized under an oath of office to protect our ballot. There is a bar scan. They did ask, do not cross out the bar scan. It does make their job easier because by just scanning it, they have all of our information, and then they can quickly process the ballot or the application or wherever they're at in the custody part of it. And then the other thing that they did ask is, this is for all of us precinct delegates, if you want to go ahead and be a precinct delegate, they're asking that you actually do it sooner and don't just be a write-in. They actually have to go through every one of the absentee ballots and look for your name the day of the election if they don't know that your name is there.
Township clerk and his deputy, and this deputy was so informative, and we recorded it, and they gave us so much information about their process at the local level that I ended the meeting by asking the deputy if she was considering running for governor, because she was so good. She was so good. Of course, that made everybody laugh.
Say?
Oh, everybody laughed, and she said, "No, I'm not a politician." I said, "Oh, really? You really are."